What do you think about what the Times had to say, Jim?
Well, I thought it was very striking that the Times has made this heroic effort on behalf of the Obama administration to shift the subject. I think the last month has been the biggest, well, don't take my word for it, Bob Schieffer of CBS, who's no conservative, said it's the biggest flop he'd ever seen in all his 4 decades in Washington. So there's your baseline. However, that was October. Now we're into November, and the Times is saying, look, you really didn't want that insurance policy. The president misspoke, which makes it sound like he said it once. He actually said it hundreds of times over the last 4 years. But I think the Times, which is not just a corner of the mainstream media, it's actually the flagship of the mainstream media, is now going to say, look, good liberals, get on board. The new enemy is the insurance companies. That's familiar territory for Democrats. It's not the president's fault. He's just a victim. It's actually, and as Omika Brzezinski on MSNBC said this morning, the president's too smart for this job. He's not smart enough. He's too smart. But now we go and do what we always do, which is blame corporate America.
Why should, Alan, why should people not be upset if they like the insurance policies they had? And there are a lot of people who did like what they had, and now they're being forced into other policies. The president said that wouldn't happen.
Well, the president not only misspoke, I think it was misleading what he said. And what he should have said is that it was all dependent upon whether the insurance companies were good actors here and kept the policies they had. But insurance companies don't tend to do that. And as a matter of fact, at Talking Points Memo online, not exactly the mainstream media, talks about how the insurance companies are misleading their customers by not letting them know, in some cases, that they have other alternatives and go to exchanges. And in some cases, where there have been examples of those who have saying that they're paying more, what hasn't been told in some of those cases, those people are entitled to subsidies. So the media hasn't told the whole story, even among those who've tried to present those unhappy with Obamacare.
Well, is that the part of the job? I mean,
yes, it is. To tell the whole story, it is part of the job.
No, but I mean, is it part of the job of the media to tell people, you know, what their insurance offerings available are?
The part of the job is if you're going to present somebody and say, here's somebody who is not particularly happy because their rates are going up, it's also important to say, well, not really, because once you have put in the subsidies, the rate isn't going up.
Is it important for the media to say the president, well, didn't tell the truth here?
Well, the president, I don't know if it was a willful lie, but I think what he didn't tell was the whole truth in terms of what insurance companies could do or would do if they did not maintain the policies which they had previously, which insurance companies often don't do.
Mitt Romney has laid pretty low, but he was on some of the shows over the weekend, Jim, and said that this is a fundamental dishonesty that is going to rot President Obama's second term, in his opinion. Is that being covered?
I mean, Romney, look, got attention. Of course, got more attention for, you know, pufferfish and all the vice presidential stuff and so on. However, let's just listen to what Alan just said. It just proves that the New York Times plan is working. The issue now is the insurance companies. They're the bad guys in this. Look, I think what Romney said was that the president wouldn't have gotten his policy through, his health care plan through in 10 if he told the truth. Well, we agree on that. Okay, in the minds of the mainstream media, that's a sunk cost. Okay, that's over and done with. We did what we had to do to win to get the Obamacare enacted by the Congress. Now we move on to shifting the blame. I mean, the Daily Caller this morning says that up to 129 million Americans could lose their health care. 129 million, that's a big number. Now, it's going to take not only the New York Times, but also very influential liberal blogs like Talking Points Memo to say, no, the real enemy is the insurance companies. Let's go get them. And pass new regulations and move to single payer, which is what we should have done all along.
They are the bad actors. I wish we would, by the way, but they are the bad actors here. Also, Justin Wolfers over at Brookings Institute has this chart that shows really the people who are the losers, had the winners and losers of Obamacare. 3% of the losers, 80% work for companies, keep what they got, 14% get new coverage that they never had before, and about 3% switch to other plans comparable in price. So there are really 3%. We're talking about a very small percentage of Americans who are not winners here. The rest are either losers or stay the same.
All right. Alan Colmes.